Good morning. Woo. Um, so I want to make a video about something that I've been thinking about for a while. This will be a ramble, purple pill wars. What we're seeing is an influx of people that are blue pill, but can't escape the gaze or the rhetoric, or cannot be, can't help themselves with, can't help themselves from being within earshot of red pill rhetoric. Like they have to become purple pill, and they're fighting against it. You see people like Clarence, you see people like Obi, and those are the first two that come to mind. And what happens is that they want to stay in like a blue pill type look of things, or they'll act as if they want to stay in a blue pill type look, or perception, or world mindset, what have you, worldview or mindset. But they can't, because there's just too much red pill rhetoric. There's too much in their comment sections. There's too much in their feed in terms of videos that are recommended to them. There's too much in terms of their real life, because then they start seeing certain patterns and they're like, holy shit, that's what I read, or that's what I listened to the other day, and that came up, that scenario came up, whatever it may be. A lot of this stuff is coming up in people's lives, and they just cannot ignore it. Like the environment won't allow you to ignore it anymore, because the environment is fundamentally changed. Talking to a brother, and was just getting sent, actually no, it was Ed, and he was sending me some stuff about Andrew Tate. And really with Andrew Tate, you're looking at, he's the product of like Kevin Samuels in terms of the look department. He's been around for a while, it seems. I've never known about him or anything like that, but he's been around for quite a bit of time, and he's done a lot for himself in terms of having casinos, him and his brother having other businesses, which is one of the reasons why they're in the countries that they're in, or in other countries, doing their type of work. And pretty much he said, hey, listen, man, you took the shot of canceling me, and it bounced off me like it was nothing. So the cancelers are getting the canceler is getting, oh no, the cancelee is canceling the canceler. That's the best way I could put it. So it's no longer that you can just cancel me and get away with it and it just be done. And we already saw this was out with Alex Jones. The Alex Jones deplatforming. I was still in Florida when that happened. I remember vividly, listening to videos, and I was in Miami at the time. I think going into a bank. So yeah, that had to be at least like what, 2019, 20. I don't think it was 2020, because things was changed by then. But it might have been like maybe 2019, probably even sooner than that, or later than that. Yeah, I think it had to be at least 2019. But I remember Alex Jones getting deplatformed, and what he said about it, and then what other people said. How this is just the beginning of others got deplatformed before that, but he was one of the major ones where it just happened like boom, 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 like it was just one after the other. Like it was a fucking orchestrated hit. Like it was kind of crazy just watching it all go down, so to speak. And oh, why is that? It's weird. I don't know if I did that right. I probably didn't do that right. Shit. So yeah, that was something that was like pretty crazy when it all happened. And now you're seeing where, an Andrew Tate, after especially Kevin Samuels, a lot of people are looking for the quote unquote next Kevin Samuels. So he fits a lot of things, like physically, financially, and then of course mentally. And then also the Kevin Samuels effect of wearing a suit. So people are looking for that. They want to be a part of that again. They want to be a part of that type of movement, but then they also want it to be aggressive, to where it's just like, hey man, I don't give a fuck. It is what it is. You can't do anything, so on and so forth. And people are loving that, especially on the white side of the manosphere. Also the look of him being, kind of racially ambiguous. So between him and his brother. I actually saw his brother. He looked like one of the guys off of what's it called? That I think it's that Philadelphia show. I forgot what it was, man. The one with oh man, Phil. I think it's like Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Always. Yeah, it's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. He looks like the brother looks like Rob McElhaney. Yeah, Rob McElhaney. I saw his brother. I was like, "Holy shit, isn't that the guy?" But anyways, but you're starting to see. And sorry for the noise in the background. It's a dog as usual. But you're starting to see where a lot of this stuff is. They can't avoid it. You know, getting back to the point, they can't avoid it. They're always gonna see it. It's in their face. I mean, the guy's on Tucker Carlson, for Christ's sake. Like, what does that tell you? Like, what is the audience that's going to? You know, these are Trump supporters and things like that, and people that are in flyover country that are not being listened to, that are, in a sense, the new sin eaters of America, in a sense, like, you know, not just black people. Now, just like white people are faced with being, you know, the sin eaters of America, in a sense, especially the impoverished ones. And I would say they always have been. You know, it's not to say like, oh, now you know how it feels, but it's more or less like, okay, like, listen, you can't unsee this stuff. You see what other people are going through, so on and so forth. It's probably been like that for a while because you have Thomas Sowell talk about, you know, black rednecks, and that comes from you know, someplace, right, in terms of like black people actually being rednecks themselves. So there's, you know, the precursor to them are the rednecks, right? So that's my thought process on that. But you're seeing where the next battle, I'm just seeing it forming, and I'm not like calling anything that's not obvious. Hey, stop. So I'm not seeing something that's not like, you know, blatantly obvious or something like that nobody else can't figure out. I just want to talk about that, and I want to talk about it and put it to the forefront because, um, you know, we're talking about Passport Bros right now, and that looks like it's dying down and losing steam. I think one of the next major battles, maybe not the next, but one of the next major battles that is like, you know, we're gearing up towards is that we're gonna have more purple pill people trying to come into this space and debunk and take apart, so on and so forth. The crazy thing about being red pill, even if you're purple pill, you have to see it. So to actually fight the monster, you'll become a bit of a monster yourself, or you'll come to an understanding of the monster. But you will also still try and vanquish that monster to uphold some of the things that you find to be true, that you find or to match your worldview. But the thing is, once you look at it and once you see it, you can't unsee it. Like, it's just pattern recognition at that point. And what you'll see is even the purple pill will be infected by the red pill. You know, I don't know why, but Courtney Michelle said goodbye to the Lapeef network, and I thought that was pretty funny because it was just like, oh, I'm thinking, I was like, I haven't watched the video, but it's just like, oh, maybe she's become a little bit more red pill, you know, and she can't unsee the shit that is happening on the Lapeef network, and you know, the women that are on it and stuff like that, and the conversations that they have, and how fruitless it is, and not just fruitless, but how the change that's coming does not include them, and does not care about them. They're irrelevant to the change that is coming. In fact, they're so far behind that they don't even understand what's happening in terms of, you know, what's happening next. Now, if anything, what will happen is they'll report something. They'll report the past. They'll report what's obvious, but they're not on the bleeding edge. Bleeding edge slash cutting edge. You know, because bleeding edge is like, it's, yo, that's brand new. Cutting edge is like, oh, okay, hey, listen, that's, you know, that's been here for a year, kind of fleshed out, and then it becomes mainstream and so on and so forth. So a lot of the stuff that's happening is on the cutting edge now, and I would say even I'm not in touch with the cutting edge, or sorry, with the bleeding edge, because I want to say 2.0 is over. It's 3.0, and we're also already cultivating and recruiting, in a sense, by just getting our message out. We're also talking to 4.0 at this point. They're coming online. They're seeing this stuff. It's in their TikToks. It's actually in there. Like they're at this point, what would be 4.0? And correct me if I'm wrong, anybody that listens to this, what would be 4.0 are in elementary, middle school, I would say, and they're starting to and they're coming up and they're starting to listen to content or be exposed to content. If not being exposed to content, being exposed to the secondhand or indirectly exposed to content, because now they're parental figures and olders and elders. So bigger brothers, sisters, and stuff like that, and of course their elders, which would be parents, grandparents. They're around, they're witnessing this stuff, it's affecting them. And then it's kind of like me growing up in the drug trade during the being birthed in the 80s. I was born in 85. So with being birthed in the 80s, my parents experienced some of the stuff that was happening with the drug trade and stuff like that. And I was just like, getting old, I'm starting to get out older and stuff like that and starting to become cognizant. But their interaction with all of this stuff in terms of talking with friends or what have you, their interaction with it is affecting even my own life, conversations that they have, decisions that they make, so on and so forth. Is that so on and so forth. So I think that's something that's like pretty important to realize, is that the alpha and even next generation, but our 4.0 of this space and this movement, like Austin Hollerman is like a 3.0 guy. I think the guy Hammer is a 3.0 guy. Even though Hammer's said some wild stuff lately, but he's still considered 3.0, I would say. And then the people that are 4.0 are indirectly affected by the olders, which would be Austin Hollerman, and the elders, in their case, which would be us, as 2.0 people. So what we're seeing is a purple pill space that is brewing, that is picking up steam in so many different ways, whether they want to defend it because, red pill is too destructive, or we have to have red pill light, or as Ed would say, rose pill, where you're red pill but not totally, but you're not pink pill per se, so you give him some respect, call him rose, I guess. But I think what's going to happen next is that this purple pill space is growing, and the best way I could say it is the reason why it's growing is because that's all that some of these women can run to, is running to a purple pill space, because that's the closest they're going to get to the blue pill. They can no longer indulge in blue pill ideology and the what's it called, the trinkets, the biscuits, the butter biscuits, they can no longer they can no longer indulge in that, because the men that would give it to them and provide it can no longer afford to do that. So now these men are saying, wow, I can't do what I used to do for said woman, in terms of like saying, everything's going to be all right. I'm going to placate you. I'm going to, submit to you, or quote unquote adapt to you. As a black woman, the black feminine, the queen, so on and so forth. It's like, you can't do that anymore. The economy, the environment as a whole will not allow you to do that. You have to deal with this shit. And that's kind of like, what we've been pushing for in terms of the terraforming of the environment, is pushing it to closer and closer to that edge, to where now you're looking down and that fall is great. And in some cases, you can't even see what's at the bottom. And all you see down there really is a red light, in a sense. And like, you see little red lights moving about, and you're like, how do they know what to do? How can they, traverse that darkness? And to us, it's not darkness, it's just exploration to a new level, So I foresee like a purple pill space, and Ed foresaw the purple pill space long ago, but I foresee a purple pill space, like a battle of the battle of purple pill supremacy, so to speak, where these women can't go to the red pill, because it's just too much, and they can't deal with loss or lack. and they can't go to the blue pill because that no longer is acceptable or exists. Chip shortage. We can't have any more blue pill robots, so we're gonna have to deal with these red pill. We're gonna have to deal with the robots that are here, and we're gonna have to upgrade them as we can, as much as we can, because we can't. Chip shortage. Like it just we can't make anything new. Sorry, that doesn't exist. 12-week wait to get your furniture type shit, or to get anything really. But yeah, I could go on further, but I got some work to do, and I gotta clean up. So I think a mess I made with this Git branch. So oof. But yeah, man. As always, thank you very much for listening. I appreciate you all. Basically, prepare. Be ready for it and understand it when you see it. Pattern recognition is something that we need to, put at the forefront of our minds, and always look around for some of these things, indicators, and indicators, markers, red flags, purple flags, what have you. And we need to be able to say, oh, okay, and then pivot accordingly. Make the changes necessary so that we can actually be not just ahead of the game, but be prepared for what's next and further explore. I think the Purple Pill Wars and the Passport Bros, the Passport Wars and the Purple Pill Wars are nothing but a distraction. But it's not so much a distraction for us so we don't deal with certain things. It's more of a distraction so 3.0 can grow and come out of that and then take over the mantle, and then even 4.0 thereafter. So I think some of these wars are just distractions, but they think, the people that are on the other side, the quote unquote enemy, so to speak, the people that we actually really care more about than caring, we care about black boys and black men, and some people will look at that as like, well, you didn't include women, so you don't care even about the boys and the men because they're raised by the women. And it's just like, yeah, that's a problem. They're raised by the women. Or just the women without male influence whatsoever and balance or logic. So when we're seeing, all of this, it's really just me just saying, hey, listen, I think this is what's next. I think this is what's important, or I think this should be put on the board. All right, peace.